Here's something I want you to think about. The last time you picked up a pack of gum at the checkout counter, you probably didn't read the ingredients. Almost nobody does. It's gum. How bad can it be? Well, the European Union thought differently. In August 2022, they banned a specific ingredient found in some of America's most popular gum brands. Brands like Trident, Orbit, and Extra not restricted it, not added a warning label, banned it outright. The European Food Safety Authority, known as EFSA, concluded the evidence against this ingredient was serious enough to act on, and the FDA's response was essentially, "We disagree." That ingredient is titanium dioxide, and it's in gum you can buy right now at any Walgreens, any grocery store, any gas station in America. And I learned something else researching this video that I genuinely didn't know. Conventional gum base, the chewy part of every stick, is made from synthetic plastic, petroleum-derived polymers, polyvinyl acetate, polyethylene, polyisobutylene, styrene butadiene rubber. The same materials used in white glue, plastic bags, adhesive sealants, and tire inner tubes. The FDA allows manufacturers to list all of this under two words, gum base. No further disclosure required. These ingredients carry GRAS status, generally recognized as safe, which is the FDA regulatory framework that allows them to stay on shelves without individual safety reviews. A 2025 UCLA study by Dr. Sanjay Mohanty, presented at the American Chemical Society's Spring 2025 conference, found that chewing a single piece releases an average of 100 microplastic particles per gram, and 94% of that release happens in the first 8 minutes. So today we're going through 9 gum brands with serious ingredient concerns: Trident, Orbit, Extra, and 6 others. Then we'll finish with 4 that are genuinely different. Brands that name exactly what's in their base, skip the questionable sweeteners and dyes, and go back to natural tree sap the way gum was made before World War II. A few of the names on this list are probably in your house right now. Before we start, one rule of thumb to keep in mind throughout. If a gum label just says gum base without naming what's actually inside, and almost all mainstream gums do this, you are almost certainly chewing a synthetic plastic base. The brands that use natural chicle tree sap name it on the label because it's a selling point. If it just says gum base, assume synthetic. The 9 brands to avoid. Before we count them down, if you're finding this useful, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. We do the research so you don't have to, and it genuinely helps the channel. Now starting at number 9. 9. Bazooka Sugar-Free. Let's start with a brand that's a classic, Bazooka. The pink bubble gum with the little comic strip inside. They make a sugar-free version now, and it leans hard on that nostalgia. The problem is the label. Sugar-free Bazooka contains sorbitol and maltitol as base sweeteners, then aspartame, acesulfame potassium, BHT listed as to maintain freshness, and right at the end, titanium dioxide for color. That's 4 of the 5 major additives we'll be talking about today, all in one pack. The pink color also comes from carmine, a dye made from crushed insects. Not harmful, but worth knowing. The original sugared Bazooka also contains BHT and titanium dioxide. The American Dental Association has given Bazooka sugar-free its seal of acceptance. That seal means one thing: chewing this gum for 20 minutes after meals helps prevent cavities by stimulating saliva. It is not a general safety endorsement. Keep that distinction in mind as we go. It comes up several more times on this list. 8. Icebreakers. Ice Cubes. Icebreakers is made by Hershey. The Ice Cubes gum leads with xylitol on the label, which sounds promising, but then also includes aspartame, acesulfame potassium, BHT, and artificial colors, blue 1 and yellow 5 in the mint flavors, red 40 in the fruit ones. So you have a product that opens with a genuinely good sweetener, but buries a full chemical stack underneath it. Xylitol is legitimately beneficial for your teeth. Cavity-causing bacteria can't metabolize it, but the aspartame is still in there, and so is everything else. Icebreakers also holds the ADA seal. Same caveat, cavity prevention only. Synthetic gum base unlabeled. 7. Mentos gum. Mentos Pure Fresh has made some smarter choices than average. Xylitol as a primary sweetener, and some flavors have dropped aspartame. But Mentos gum contains titanium dioxide for color. This is the ingredient EFSA, the European Food Safety Authority, flagged and the EU banned in August 2022 via Commission Regulation 2022/63. Their food safety agency concluded they could not rule out that titanium dioxide causes genotoxic damage, meaning potential damage to DNA. France had already banned it 2 years earlier. The FDA still permits it at up to 1% by weight. It holds GRAS status in the United States. 2 major food safety bodies looked at the same evidence and reached opposite conclusions. A 2012 study from Arizona State University, published in Environmental Science and Technology, found chewing gum had some of the highest titanium dioxide concentrations of any food category tested. Mentos Fresh Mint Gum was specifically named. Synthetic gum base unlabeled. 6. Eclipse. Eclipse is also a Mars Wrigley product positioned as the intense fresh breath option. It hits every mark we've been discussing. Aspartame, yes. Acesulfame potassium, yes. BHT, yes. Titanium dioxide, yes. That's the complete set. Eclipse and Mentos are the 2 mainstream gums where you consistently find titanium dioxide alongside all the other additives. Pick up an Arctic Spearmint pack and flip it over. It's all right there in the contains less than 2% section. Synthetic gum base, unlabeled. 5. Trident White. Trident has built its identity around made with xylitol. Accurate as far as it goes. But the white version adds titanium dioxide specifically for the whitening effect. And that same Arizona State study named Trident White Peppermint among the highest TiO2 foods tested. The study also noted a meaningful portion of those particles were in the nanoparticle range, under 100 nanometers, which is part of what drove EFSA's precautionary ban in Europe. The rest of the label, aspartame, acesulfame, potassium, BHT, synthetic gum base. Standard Trident without the white has the same additives minus the titanium dioxide. That version appears at number 1 on this list. 4. Extra. Extra has been around since the 1970s. Classic American gum. The label includes aspartame, acesulfame potassium, BHT, and artificial dyes depending on flavor. Red 40 in the sweet watermelon, Blue One Lake and spearmint, confirmed on Extra's own website. Those dyes matter right now. In April 2025, the FDA announced a plan to phase out petroleum-based artificial dyes. Red 40, Yellow 5, Yellow 6, Blue 1, and others from the food supply. California went further. A 2024 law bans those dyes from public school foods starting end of 2027. Red 3 was formally revoked by the FDA in January 2025, effective 2027. So the dyes in Extra are under active regulatory reconsideration even while they're still on shelves. Synthetic gum base, unlabeled. 3. 5 Gum. 5 Gum is Wrigley's premium tier. The sleek black packaging, the stimulate your senses branding. The spearmint rain flavor lists Yellow 5 Lake and Blue 1 Lake. Sweeteners are aspartame and acesulfame potassium. BHT is in there for preservation. What puts 5 Gum at number 3 is what lands all at once. Dyes now under active FDA review. Aspartame carrying a 2023 WHO classification of possibly carcinogenic, and BHT now under formal FDA post-market safety review opened in 2026. Each one individually may not change your habits. All 3 together in something you might chew every single day is worth knowing about. Synthetic gum base, unlabeled. 2. Orbit. Orbit is one of the best marketed gums ever made. Wrigley's Dirty Mouth Clean It Up campaign, one of the first gums to earn the ADA seal back in September 2007. It was positioned as not just harmless, but actively healthy. The label tells a different story. Orbit uses sorbitol as its primary sweetener. plus maltitol syrup, aspartame, acesulfame potassium, and BHT. Some flavors also include mannitol, another sugar alcohol that, like sorbitol, can cause digestive distress in higher amounts. The sorbitol needs a specific mention. It's an osmotic laxative. It draws water into the intestines. A 2008 case series published in the British Medical Journal documented 2 patients who developed severe chronic diarrhea and lost roughly 20% of their body weight, traced directly to daily sorbitol intake from sugar-free gum and candy. One was a 21-year-old woman consuming about 18 to 20 grams of sorbitol a day. The other was a 46-year-old man taking in around 30 grams. A typical stick of sorbitol-based gum has about 1.25 grams, so you can do the math on how many sticks that works out to. Both patients recovered completely once they stopped. The reason this case made it into the BMJ is that both patients had already been through months of diagnostic testing, colonoscopies, biopsies, specialist visits, before anyone thought to ask about gum. That's the detail that matters. This is a reversible, documented effect that a lot of doctors still don't think to look for. Synthetic gum base, unlabeled. 1. Trident. Trident has been around since 1964. For decades, the marketing was built on dentist endorsements. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend Trident for their patients who chew gum. That campaign ran for years and established Trident as the responsible, health-conscious choice. Trident does use xylitol. It says so on the front of every pack. But look at the full ingredient list and you find aspartame alongside it, plus acesulfame potassium, BHT, and, in the fruit flavors, Red 40 Lake and Yellow 6 Lake. Synthetic gum base, unlabeled. Trident earns the top spot for one reason above all: trust. This is the gum generations of Americans have chewed daily because they genuinely believed it was the healthy option. The made with xylitol claim is accurate as far as it goes. Xylitol does protect your teeth, but that one true claim has been used to obscure everything else in the package for decades. Let me explain aspartame clearly, because it appears in almost everything on this list. In July 2023, the WHO's International Agency for Research on Cancer classified aspartame as possibly carcinogenic to humans. That's a Group 2B classification, the same broad category as aloe vera extract and pickled vegetables. The evidence was described as limited, drawn primarily from large studies of diet soda drinkers. Critically, a separate WHO committee reaffirmed the acceptable daily intake for aspartame and said the evidence of harm was not convincing at normal consumption levels. The FDA publicly disagreed with the classification, so there are real scientists on both sides. The amount of aspartame in a single stick of gum is very small. A 70-kilogram adult would need roughly 9 to 14 cans of diet soda every day to hit the acceptable daily intake limit. But some people chew multiple packs a day. And the broader point is simple: aspartame isn't necessary here. There are gums that taste just fine without it. Trident's choice to use both xylitol and aspartame is a formulation and cost decision, not a health one. You deserve to know that. Here's where the video turns, because this problem has a real simple solution, and it's actually a return to something old rather than anything new. The 4 brands coming up all use chicle as their gum base. That's the sap of the sapodilla tree, a tropical hardwood native to Central America and southern Mexico. Indigenous Mayan communities have been harvesting it for centuries. A chiclero, the traditional name for a chicle tapper, makes shallow diagonal cuts in the bark and collects the sap as it runs down. The tree is never felled. It produces sap for 100 years or more. Thomas Adams Sr. commercialized chicle-based gum in the United States in 1869 under what would become the Adams Gum Company, and it remained the standard until the 1940s, when manufacturers discovered they could replicate the chewiness using petroleum-derived synthetic polymers, including polyisobutylene and styrene butadiene rubber, at a fraction of the cost. So they switched. The chicle disappeared from the label, replaced by the 2 words gum base, and most consumers never noticed. These 4 brands noticed, and they went back. Chicle biodegrades. It doesn't shed petroleum-based microplastics the way synthetic bases do. And every one of these 4 brands names it specifically on the ingredient label, written out as chicle or chicle gum base or natural chicle gum base. That word is your signal. All 4 are also free of aspartame, BHT, titanium dioxide, and artificial dyes. 4. Tree Hugger Gum. Tree Hugger is a small brand based in Chevy Chase, Maryland, a family who loved bubblegum but couldn't find one made without artificial colors, flavors, and synthetic sweeteners, so they made their own. The mini-stick sugar-free line has 5 ingredients: xylitol, 100% real chicle gum base, that exact phrase is on the label, calcium carbonate natural flavors, and sunflower seed lecithin. No aspartame, no BHT, no titanium dioxide, no artificial dyes. The calcium carbonate also does something useful. It buffers mouth acid after eating, a small bonus on top of the xylitol. Tree Hugger is primarily on Amazon and through natural food retailers. Not the easiest to find, but what you get is a label with nothing on it you need to question. 3. Refresh Gum. Refresh Gum uses chicle gum base, named that way on the label, sweetened with xylitol and stevia and flavored with real organic powders. The Garden Mint ingredient list: xylitol, chicle gum base, organic mint, organic matcha powder, natural flavors, coconut-derived glycerin, spirulina extract for color, fruit and vegetable juice for color, gum acacia, carnauba wax, stevia leaf extract. Look at the color sources: spirulina and fruit and vegetable juice. No blue one, no yellow 5, no synthetic dyes of any kind. That detail separates Refresh from almost everything else on the market, including many brands that market themselves as natural. No aspartame, no acesulfame potassium, no BHT, no titanium dioxide. Available at Whole Foods and on Amazon. 2. Milliways. Milliways was founded in the UK in 2021 and launched in the US in 2024. By January 2026, it had raised $3 million in expansion funding and reached more than 2,000 American stores, including Sprouts, Meijer, and Walmart. That's fast growth. And it's happening because people are looking for exactly what this brand offers. 8 plant-based ingredients: xylitol, stevia, natural chicle gum base, vegetable glycerol, natural flavors, gum arabic, magnesium stearate, carnauba wax. The base is named directly. No aspartame, no BHT, no titanium dioxide, no artificial dyes. And the brand carries certified biodegradable status. Chicle breaks down in soil rather than persisting as plastic waste. Milliways comes in spearmint, peppermint, mighty mint, bubble mint, strawberry, and watermelon. Around $2.50 for a 10-piece pack at Sprouts. The most accessible price point on this list. The texture is softer than synthetic gum, and the flavor fades faster. Worth knowing going in. 1. Simply Gum. Simply Gum is the standard everything else in this category gets measured against. It was founded in 2014 by Karen Proshin, who discovered conventional gum was made from synthetic plastic and started making small batches in her New York City apartment using chicle tree sap. The company now explicitly markets itself as plastic-free on its packaging. The sugar-free peppermint ingredient list: plant-based xylitol, chicle base, written out in full as chicle tree sap, candelilla wax, citric acid, peppermint oil, organic vegetable glycerin, gum arabic, organic rice flour. No aspartame, no BHT, no titanium dioxide, no artificial colors, no acesulfame potassium. And the base is not just named, it's fully disclosed. You see chicle, candelilla wax, and citric acid, every component. That level of transparency is rare in any packaged food product, let alone gum. Certified non-GMO, vegan, and kosher. Available at Whole Foods, Thrive Market, and Amazon. If you buy the sugared classic version, each piece has about 1 gram of organic cane sugar. Choose the xylitol sugar-free line if that matters to you. The trade-offs are the same as the other 3 picks on this list. Costs more, flavor fades faster, texture feels different. But on every single question we've raised today, the sweetener, the preservative, the dye, and the base, Simply Gum has the right answer every time. That's why it's the benchmark. So here's the full picture. The 9 brands, Trident, Orbit, Extra, 5 Gum, Eclipse, Trident White, Mentos, Icebreakers, and Bazooka Sugar Free, all carry ingredient stories more complicated than the packaging suggests. Aspartame, with a 2023 WHO possibly carcinogenic classification, BHT under FDA post-market review. Titanium dioxide banned by EFSA and the European Union. Artificial dyes the FDA is now working to phase out. And synthetic plastic gum bases, polyisobutylene, styrene butadiene rubber, polyvinyl acetate, releasing microplastics into your mouth from the first minute of chewing, documented by Dr. Sanjay Mohanty's team at UCLA and presented to the American Chemical Society. None of this proves that a stick of any of these gums will harm you. What it means is that you've been making a daily habit out of a product with a far more complicated ingredient story than you were ever shown. And the industry has had every reason not to make that easy to see. The 4 clean options, Simply Gum, Milliways, Refresh Gum, and Tree Hugger, all name their chicle base directly on the label. All are free of aspartame, BHT, titanium dioxide, and synthetic dyes. They cost more. The flavor doesn't last as long. The texture feels different from what most of us grew up chewing. But the ingredient list is one you can actually read, and the base is one that's been in human mouths for thousands of years, not invented in a petroleum refinery in the 1940s. One last thing before you go. The next time you pick up a pack of gum, flip it over. Look for the word chicle. If it's not there, and if you just see gum base, you now know what that means. You know what questions to ask. That's the whole point of a video like this. Not to scare you off gum forever, but to give you the information you were never given so you can make your own call. Here's what I'd ask you. Before today, did you know most gum is made from synthetic plastic? Now that you do, does that change what you reach for? If this was useful, a subscribe helps us keep making these. Drop a comment below. I'd genuinely like to know if you've tried any of these cleaner brands and what you thought. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.